Hi, my name is Dudas Butkus, and in today's video I want to talk about cryptocurrency called ARK. Even though the whole market is just going down by 40–50%, ARK on the other hand has only lost 3% in the last 7 days. So even all the news that are coming out aren't really pulling the price of ARK down. It has been on a huge uptrend, and the price went basically from around $1, even 18 cents over here, and within a month it had reached a peak at $4.50, and now even though the market is going down, it pushed the price back to $2.60. So this is why it piqued my attention, because of this massive growth, even when there are such bad news in the market. So I wanted to do a quick review of what ARK really is. To put it short, ARK is actually a derivative of Lisk. I have talked about Lisk, which is a platform for developing decentralized apps. It uses JavaScript, but ARK is actually a lot more, but it's still a young project. If you see, it started only in March 22nd. It was launched in the exchanges, so it's really new. As I said, it's a derivative of Lisk. It uses the same proof-of-stake algorithm, where they have delegates for which you can vote and get back some ARK. I think the percentages are quite low, but it's how it all works. Thanks to that proof-of-stake algorithm, there will be never a hard fork in the network. A few key points is that there are around 100 million ARK tokens right now, and the total supply will be 128 million. The inflation rate is 5%. So it's a derivative of Lisk, and what's unique about it? Well, they are building a SmartBridge technology, and they are planning to create a huge platform for decentralized apps, and I think it is best to go through their roadmap. Their white paper is actually only 17 pages long, so the roadmap best illustrates what they are actually planning to do, what are their ideas, and why are people right now just investing a lot of money into this. So let's just quickly go through their roadmap and talk about what they are planning to do. So the first one is technical documentation. They definitely lack this. They have a ton of ideas, but they haven't yet put the documentation to materialize them and for people to better understand them. Desktop wallet redesign. So they have a wallet and they want to redesign it, so this is basic. And they also want to have mobile wallets, so these are pretty basic stuff. SmartBridge partnerships. So from what I understand from their little documentation about smart bridges, is that they will be using them to interact with other blockchains. Those blockchains can be either clones of ARK, or they can be separate blockchains like Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Lisk. What they have in mind right now is to create smart bridge partnerships with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Lisk. Lisk will probably be the first partnership because they have a lot of similar code, and that will be the easiest to implement. The smart bridge will allow to do transactions between different blockchains. So if you send a transaction to a different blockchain, the tokens will be converted and exchanged. So that's the basic idea, kind of. It's in my opinion very unique and a very powerful, basically as powerful as smart contracts were when Ethereum released them. So there's plenty of implementations for them, and this is going to be a really good thing. And if we read the description, building partnerships and bridging other projects is a never-ending phase on the roadmap. So they are planning to have a lot of blockchains in the network. Alternative development, implementation and programming languages. So Lisk has JavaScript, Ethereum has its own language, Neo has Java, Go, and Python and C# if I remember correctly, and ARK has a whole list. The ones that have the full bar are already implemented from what I understand. So this is Python, Java, .NET, and these are the major programming languages. This is one is not yet implemented, C is not yet implemented, Go is implemented, Advanced PowerShell, don't even know what that is, Rust, PHP is already implemented, TypeScript, C++, Nucleate, Ruby, Swift.io, etc. And there will probably be a few more, but already they have like 70 to 80% of the whole market of developers able to produce decentralized apps on this network, because they have the whole major languages. And maybe it's around 90-95%, I would even say so, as these less known languages have very little developers. So this is a really major thing, that the roadblock for developers, that is the coding language, basically disappears. First iteration of SmartBridge. Let's read the description. Building a blockchain app and coded listener and connecting it to ARK's main chain via a SmartBridge for initial testing. This now focuses on ACES, sponsored by ARK and built by community developers. ACES is an encoded listener node with a user interface connecting ARK and Ethereum. So this is like a testing of the smart bridges between ARK and Ethereum blockchains, from what they are writing. Interesting development, and they are already almost completed it. So this will be a use case of the smart bridge, and after that we will have more info about them, but overall they seem very promising. Push button deployable blockchains. What they want to be able for people to do is to just come duplicate the ARK blockchain and start developing on them. The duplicate will be interconnected with using those smart bridges. So that's what they are working on here. Integration of interplanetary file system, which is a connection for a lot of data, of huge networks of data, peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol, will address large amounts of data to be transferred, so which is very needed when the blockchains start to get big. Formation of business entity and foundation, so basically founding the whole business. Website redesign are a really needed thing for their branding. Deployment of testnet clones for startups, so basically they want to have those copies of ARK ready for people to start developing on them and start testing them out. So a testnet. SmartBridge documentation. This is very needed because there's very little info about these smart bridges. Integration. ARK as a payment for merchandise store. They have a merchandise store and they want to implement ARK payments. Development of various smart cards, NFC materials. So basically they want to have credit cards available for people to use their cryptocurrencies to buy stuff. NFC contactless chip. NFC is similar to Bluetooth, so you could make transactions with Internet of Things. And if we read the partnerships and R&D for NFC contactless chip and wearable devices with optional hardware wallets. Yeah. Point of sale hardware, R&D. Not too sure what is point of sale. Interplanetary database. And they are creating a new type of database, integration of interplanetary database. This depends on final release. Explorer redesign, rebuild. They are rebuilding their Explorer of the blockchain. ARK VM, this is similar technology to smart contracts that they will be using on the ARK network. So we have went through the whole roadmap, and there's a lot of stuff in here. Maybe something that wasn't mentioned that I read about in the white paper was optional anonymous payments that are going to be also available. And so this is what is ARK all about. Smart bridges to interconnect blockchains, proof of stake with delegates, credit cards, Bluetooth NFC technology, and other stuff. So it's really a handful, and also the coding languages is a major key for implementation of this network. So there's a lot that's happening. As you can see, there's nothing yet completed out of these 19 tasks, but some of them are coming to an end, as you can see. And once they are done with this roadmap, it's going to be a really powerful platform. As we have seen, it has really grown in the last month, and it's really looking like a platform that could get in the top 10 by the technology that they are trying to create. So this is looking really promising, and we'll see how it all goes for ARK. So this is it for this video. Hope you learned what ARK is about, what technologies are they planning to bring to the market, and now it's up to you to decide, is the hype worth their promises or not. So this is it for this video. Hope it was interesting and helpful, and I will see you in the next video.